to the parallel cloud, where I will explain this popular topic with you. And the topic is population. Population. So you see, population. Here we consider some objectives that go with this lesson. First, we consider the meaning of population and the two determinants. Under the two aspects we have here, we also go further to explain the instruments used to determine the size of organism in a given habitat. Then I want to list factors that affect population in a given habitat. And lastly, we discuss about some ecological instruments and the way they are being used. So to start with, I will give us the meaning of population. Population has to do with the number of organisms. It might not be people, it might not just be human beings only, or you consider any living creature that surrounds a given habitat. So from definition, you can simply define population as the total number of organisms of the same species. Total number of organisms. Total number of organisms. Total number of organisms of the same species. Of the same species. Species living together in a habitat or a given area at a particular point in time. For example, in this terrestrial habitat, let's take example this aspect of our environment that we are in. Human beings are the predominant of all living organisms that we have in this our terrestrial habitat. Let me take Lagos for example. In Lagos State, we have a kind of species, kind of organisms that are around. But when we want to talk about population, we have to pick a particular species. For example, you can pick human beings only. That's the population of human beings in the environment. If you want to pick animals that are lesser than human beings, like the cattle, the dog, you must be specific about the species of organism you are talking about. Then, in relation to to the environment in which they stay. So that is the meaning of population. So I would like to take it again by saying population is the total number of organisms of the same species living together in habitat or given area at a particular point in time. So we now go to the next one, which is dominance. What is dominance? Dominance. This refers to the species that exerts greater influence or a major controlling effect on the other members of the community. Like here, as you see this, our environment as an example, we have other organisms that are also present in this environment. We have organisms like the birds, like the lizard, we have the rats, we have cattle, we have mentioned them. But out of all these organisms, a particular organism is dominating, as in charge. So that is the human being. He dominates over them. So we call that what? Dominant. So the species that exerts greater influence or a major controlling effect on the other member of the community is what we call what? This state is called what? Dominant. So analyzing these two now, I've talked about population and I've talked about dominance. So I believe that we understand what it means by population and dominance. So we are going to talk about the list of the instruments used to determine the population size of organisms in a given habitat. So we have different kind of instrument that we use. But before we go, we have to consider some characteristics that are attached to population. First one is population size. Population size, another one is population density, another is population frequency, population percentage, we have percentage cover and distribution. So the first is population size. What is population size? The number of organisms of the same species living together in a given area at a particular time. Like for example, in a classroom where you have like 50 students, that is population size. In that classroom, number of students in that class are specific, that they are 50 number at that point in time. So density has to do with the number of particular species over the area of land that they occupy. As you know, in our physics, when we are talking about density, we have to relate with the area that is the area of area of environment, area of land that is occupied. So total density to that of population have to do with number of specific species per unit area or volume of the what of the habitat. For example, we have a formula that we use to what to denote that, and that is population density. Population density equal to population size over area of habitat. Population size over area of habitat. So as you know, habitat is a place where you find the what? The organisms. So now when you are considering the ratio between the what? Population size and the area, we call it what? Population density. And the question that comes from that, they can say total number and so on number of organisms that find in the particular area of land, what is the density? You can easily do that by considering what? This formula. So another one that we have there is the population frequency. Population frequency is the number of times an organism occurs within a given area or habitat. Like you enter your kitchen and you see that you have a large number of mosquitoes moving in that kitchen. You have a large number of what? Of cockroaches moving about. You have some organisms moving about. But when you want to talk about frequency, you look at the number of times you can find those organisms in that place. That is, how many are they in that particular environment. So like when you go to the toilet, your feet are chewing or whatever where you go to, by the time you sit down there and you look around, you see that in most cases you find a large number of cockroaches. Why? Because that is their zone. You have it in a large number. So another one is percentage cover. This refers to the space or area an organism occupies in a habitat. So that is that. Then we go to population growth rate. Population growth rate has to do with the net result of the influence of maternal or birth rate and mortality. That is the death rate of organism in an habitat or in a given habitat. So that means if you want to consider the rate at which living organisms grow in a particular habitat, you must look at what? The rate at which the organisms are giving birth to, that is the birth rate, and the natality rate, that is the rate at which the organism die. So if the natality rate is higher than the rate at which the mortality rate is, that means you have more of what? Of the organism. But when the mortality rate is now what? Now higher than that of the natality, that means many of the organisms are dying and the population involved is reducing drastically. Another one is population distribution. It has to do with the way in which individuals of the same species are arranged in a given habitat, either randomly, evenly, or what? Or clumsily. So it depends on the way in which organisms are what? Are arranged in a given what? Habitat. So we now go to the next aspect, that is population study. When you are studying population, you have like 4 factors to consider here. 4 to 5 factors. The first one is what? You choose the habitat you are working with. Then second, you select the sample. I call it sample you want to use. The method you want to use to carry out your study. Then the next is you count and you record the different type of organisms present. That is collection of data. So sampling using a quadrant or transect. We have a lot of instruments that we use to carry out this, but the most common one are the what? The quadrant and the transect. They are used in carrying out the collection, counting, and record of of given organism in the habitat. So then next, identify the dominant species. Then that is the one that are most frequent that you can see in that environment, that are in charge. Those organisms that are in charge of that particular environment. And last, we repeat that experiment at a little number of intervals. Let's assume you want to carry out that experiment on a big field. Then you go there with your instrument, then probably with your quadrant or your swift net or whatever, then you throw it the way it covers, then you go there, you carry out collect your data, you count them, you record them, then after finishing the process, then you throw that same quadrant to another side, another direction, you go there, carry it out. So that means you repeat it number of times, and at the end, when you consider it, you can easily get the story, you can easily get to determine the population characteristics and a lot of things that are involved in that environment. So what are the factors that affect population? Factors that affect population are, we have one, natality rate. We have natality. we have mortality, we have immigration, availability of food, seasonal climate change, breeding seasons, natural disaster. As you know, natality has to do what? Rate at which living organisms what? Organisms are being given birth to. As in, the more the natality, the more the population. And mortality has to do with death rate. A lot of things can cause death. And when they begin to die, it reduces the what? The population of the environment. Then the next one is emigration. That is immigration. Immigration has to do with the movement of organisms from different habitats into what? New habitats. That is, maybe they are in search of food, maybe they want to migrate to start another area and to start up another environment in another area. So this can lead to what? Immigration. And now it's emigration. That is when organisms move out of an habitat due to unfavorable conditions like scarcity of food, unfavorable weather, and so on. And this can reduce the population of the habitat. Another one is availability of food. In a habitat where you have more food, you have what? More organisms that are there to what? To feed on that food. Another one is seasonal climate changes. When during rainy season, you know what happened to some area or habitat, some organisms have to move from particular area to another area because they can't cope with that kind of weather. So these changes in climate also what? Lead to what? Movement of organisms or population. Another one is breeding season. There are some organisms that for them to breed, they have to leave a particular environment to what? To go to another environment. We find out mostly fishes and some other other terrestrial animals too, that they are to go out, move out to mate and all this stuff. We call it what? The season and people to go out what? To breed. Another one is natural disaster. And there is fire, there is drought, and there is flood. All these things can lead to what? Decrease the population, and it can also lead to what? To death of some organisms if they are trapped in that scenario. So then lastly, I want to talk about the measurement of ecological factor. How do we measure ecological factor? Using ecological instruments. Ecological instruments we have are so many, but I'll just list them. In the previous video, maybe I'll just attach their diagram and we can use it to understand. So we have the photometer. This is what we call the light meter. It is used to what? To test for the what? Light intensity. And we have hydrometer. That one has to do with light intensity in water. How do we test for intensity of light in water? Then we use wind vane to show the direction of what? The wind in the environment. Then we look for what? Anemometer. That has to do with the speed of the wind. Then we go to the rain gauge. That one used to what? To measure or to calculate the amount of rainfall in a given what? Area. And that one is hygrometer. That has to do with relative humidity of an environment. The other one is the barometer. That has to do with pressure. To calculate the what? The pressure. And then we have the glass thermometer. That one you need to calculate the temperature of an environment. You have the colorimeter or pH scale. That one is used to calculate or to find out the degree of acidity and alkalinity in the environment, maybe within the soil or in the environment generally. So then now we have the Secchi disc. That one is used to measure the turbidity. Then we have the last one added, that is the sweep insect net. That one is to catch insect. I have a sample here. I will show you. This is a sample of a sweep net. By the time you go in, you just go like this. You pick it up, then you roll it. Then you can actually collect the data of whatever you have caught in the net. So that is that about population. So we now have to understand that in dealing with population, the key factors you have to understand is one, not about the dominant organisms, but the factors that affect us, that affect population. We look at the density, the size, the species involved, then the frequency of organisms in that environment. Then you consider the instruments that are used in calculating or working with with the factors that affect us, that affect population. Then you need to factor that affect population that I just said earlier. Then you need to understand the natality rate, I said earlier, the mortality rate, the immigration, availability of food, seasonal climate change, breeding seasons, natural disaster, and all this stuff. So these are the things that we need to take notes under this particular topic that we call population. As I said earlier on, what is population? Population can simply be defined the number of organisms of the same species living together in a habitat or given area at a particular point in time. So that is the end of today's lecture. If you have any question to ask, please drop it so that I can attend to that. Have a nice time.